Nerd's Guide to Games. Today we're going to take a look at the gaming news for the past 2 weeks. Before we get started, if you could please hit that like button, let's begin. Now the first bit of news to come out last week is that Fortnite Season 10 dropped. And with Fortnite Season 10, there will be new skins, new weapons, and new challenges. So probably playing a lot of Fortnite. It does cost money to get the Battle Pass. It's free to play Fortnite. That's probably what always the crazy thing is Fortnite is free to play. You don't have to pay for the skins. You don't have to buy the Battle Pass. You can still play Fortnite. But the Fortnite Battle Pass is usually about $9.99, and it does get you skins and all that unlocked. Skins don't offer a tactical advantage at all. They're just cosmetic. They always just say that in Fortnite Battle Royale. And this is interesting this season because they usually just take away like things from the map and change them up, but actually now they're bringing things back into the map, which is quite interesting to do that in Season 10. Now that they've done this, it's been out 2 years now, and just adding things back in the map and that. So it's just very interesting of the way things are going. Fortnite's still chugging along. The Fortnite World Cup was a couple weeks ago, and like $13 billion for the winner in the singles match is just crazy for that too. So that's just a little bit in the Fortnite news. You can always look that up. Link description below, and just different changes that they're doing and different things in Fortnite down below. Second story I want to share with you today is that Sony has come out in a press release saying that the PlayStation 5 that hasn't come out yet, that might actually be at a higher price. Why they're saying this right now is they're saying for people to just be ahead is because of the taxes that are going to be put on Chinese goods. Sony does produce a lot of stuff in China and ship it over here, and just that to overcost those tariffs, they're going to put that on the consumer. So that's just something that everyone has to be aware of. That's going to come up, that it's going to do that. And, it's kind of just an interesting story. And a couple of the other ones have said, maybe it's going to start going up. There are companies that are changing the directions away from China, producing and going to like Vietnam and that. So they're trying to avoid those tariffs by moving those jobs around, which is an interesting, just an interesting theory and topic. I don't want to get too much about taxes and tariffs are bad. No, that's not what I do here. I just want to let you know that this is something that's coming up, something that Sony has directly said in a press release, that PlayStation 5 might be a higher price. That's just the way it is. Not just it's higher because of the quality, it's higher because of the tariffs. So just something to keep you aware of here with that. So a little bit of strange and sad news coming up in this next story, and that is a game that came out a couple months ago. It's called Crash Team Racing, that I did the new releases videos on. Unfortunately, is going to start getting microtransactions here coming up, I believe, very, very soon, where you can actually buy the coin in the game for real money and buy new skins and characters. Now, what's really interesting about this story, and what it's actually making quite people upset, is that it's a game that's been out. They never said anything at the beginning of the promotion, never said anything about getting microtransactions or anything like that. And now, a few months into the cycle, they're going, hey, let's introduce microtransactions. And now people are getting upset about reviewers and like Let's Players and all that, because they never said anything about microtransactions. Well, what the information they gave is that they wasn't going to get microtransactions. It's a straight up game. You could win all the coins. You don't have to pay anything for it, no problem. And now, so this is an interesting story, an interesting idea, and for video game developers, it's like, oh, I got this game. Well, it's doing all right. I want to make some more money, and it will set microtransactions into it. And so you're adding microtransactions to it. So the life of the game and people making updates for that, is going to increase. But now I'm paying for a $60 game that I paid for, or I think it was like $30 game for Crash Team Racing. It's hard, I can't remember. I'm sorry. That you are now going to add on top of it to add more stuff, and it's kind of like it's the whole loot box idea. It's that whole it all clumps together, and it's a crazy thing to think about, that a game that's been out for a while. Hey, we're going to add microtransactions. We're going to try to get some more money. But honestly, it's getting more money back for the life cycle of the game and to add stuff to it. That's just usually how it goes. So it's just an interesting story. Just let you know that if your child plays Crash Team Racing, microtransactions we're going to start here shortly. So I shared over the last news video we did 2 weeks ago. I shared that my Joy-Con, I sent that in. I had sent that in on a Tuesday, and just a little update on that. I got my Joy-Con back the next, so that Wednesday. So those like 9 days. 9 days and to do it, and it was unbelievable. I'm like it's back. It works better than ever. It's crazy and free and taken care of, and that's the awesome thing is with Nintendo right now is that they know there's a problem and they're fixing it and they're not charging people for it. So what I'm gonna put the link below for the repair again. If you need to do it, do it. It doesn't take much. Most you have to do is send it. You have to send it in. You fill the form, send it in. Goes off, comes back. Perfect. Perfectly fine, awesome. They even checked like, hey, and they even did like, hey, how do we do? It did awesome. And like I told them like, this is crazy. Like I can't believe you got it done already. Like I know there's a huge problem. Maybe people are sending it in, and he gave me back in less than a week and a half. I got it back, and it was plain. So, just crazy little update on that. Other than that, if you have any questions on how it goes, just notifications, email, Twitter, that sort of things, perfectly fine. If your Joy-Con is acting up, send it in. Okay, just send it in. But that's just plain as day. Just send it in. It's gonna be the better. Now this next story is a little interesting. I usually don't talk about streamers and all that too much, but the biggest Fortnite streamer and probably one of the biggest streamers I would say in the world right now, Ninja, and he's done different things with different celebrities like Snoop Dogg and a couple different things like playing Fortnite. He's gotten really big, huge. He has actually signed an exclusive deal to go to Mixer. So he was on a thing called Twitch, is what it's a streaming service, and there's another one called Mixer. And he is going to jump ship, and he jumped ship. He announced it on a Sunday, and he jumped ship on Monday. And it's just crazy that and the views he got in the first day was 80,000 people were watching him play Fortnite. And in the span of just a few days, it's almost 2 million people watched him when he switched to Mixer. So it's just crazy that people, it's like a professional athlete. Professional athlete, signs up the team, signs up here, and then goes, hey, I'm gonna go over here and get more money. And boom, he just right over and went. So it's just crazy thing of people moving. It's hard to say people moving video games and just talking. So a lot of people don't. I've used Mixer. I've tried Mixer. I've done Twitch too, but just moving from one to the other, it's different and it's strange, and it's definitely a different viewership. So it's just interesting that these streaming companies are now grabbing talent and bringing them over. So it's just an interesting thing of how video games have evolved from, you're pretty much a person, you don't pretty much get much, you get a little money for ads. Now they're, hey, you're going over here, you switch with us, we'll pay you a lot of money. So it's just a really interesting story. I thought you'd enjoy that. Just probably people talking about it, because it's just crazy that he's getting all this, he's moving over and gonna get all this money for it. So the last story I want to talk about today is actually a new one that came up, and I've watched a video about it the other day, and that is Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox have all teamed together, and this is a very interesting thing because they usually don't always team up a lot, have agreed to require games with paid loot boxes to include the chances of winning. So it'd give you the percentages before you even purchase the item of telling you the percentage of getting a specific item, or a rare item, a legendary item, and that's skins and all that. And which is interesting because I know China has done this, and people are like, oh, and they base things off China, but you could adapt to the player, the percentage and all that, but it'd be minuscule at all. And what's funny is, and they're gonna require this by, I would say, the end of 2020. So next year, near the end now, they're going to require all companies that have loot boxes to abide by this, and this is the rule. And so it's really funny, as even Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, EA, Ubisoft, and Wizards of the Coast, and those are big companies that do loot boxes, are agreeing to this. And so it's just, they're going to comply and agree. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because it's gonna be funny, because it's oh, I can, is it going to, I've heard some things oh, people are going to upset because, now I know, and I'm not going to do loot boxes. And people go, well, now I know, and I can probably get that loot box a lot faster. And it's interesting to change, because I know there are a few senators that are looking to get rid of to ban loot boxes. There are a few countries, I've talked about this about a billion times. A bunch of countries that you can't do loot boxes, don't do loot boxes. It's banning governments. I said, Britain a couple weeks ago had a hearing about it, and just, it's interesting that this is, they're trying to be proactive, but it might be too late. So just being proactive of saying, hey, loot boxes, here's the drop rates, here's what you get, instead of just it's completely randomized or surprise mechanic, as one of the company puts it. So it's just interesting that they're making this change to not have the hammer come down on them, which would be interesting because the hammer might be coming. I'm not. It just they're definitely people going out there and trying to bring the hammer down and loot boxes forever, and it's gambling. And like I said, I've seen a bunch of studies. I've showed a couple of studies. Is it gambling? I don't know. Can it lead to problems? Yes, it can lead to problems in adulthood, and leading to gambling and issues because you've done this and you're like, oh, I can do this, oh wait, I'm losing and I'm losing and I'm losing and I'm losing. I can't do anything. So, that's just my story. That's the end of the news. Other than that, guys, I will see you later. Bye. Big shout out to bensound.com for the music. Please follow Parents Guide to Games on YouTube at Parents Guide to Games, on Twitter at ParentsG2G, and email any questions or comments to parentsg2g@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and please hit the like button.